And now we'll be adding synths. This will be one of the most important parts of our production, since we'll need to put the most power into it. So mostly we'll focus on proper layering. But to do layering, we first need to make any main synth chords. So let's add chords pattern. Insert one track. Add new Serum instance. Call it chords, and definitely main chords actually. And we'll simply start with two wavetables. One will be square, one will be saw. And that's usually how I do it, since both of them give a lot of power. And let's just take the organs MIDI to it, and we'll start building from it. We'll make both 8 on unison, slightly less detune, and the square will put octave up or down. I'll take up. And that's exactly the end of our sound design process. At least in Serum, of course. Now I'd like to add OTT, as you for sure know it already. We could also add it inside of the Serum, but let's add it into our mixer. And then we'll add distortion. FL Studio came out with really nice Distractor plugin, which we'll use today. And we'll just use the distortion mode, of course. And we'll use the fast distortion mode here. Really nice by itself. And now I would like to add some EQing to take down definitely everything from the very lows, since we have the bass taking it. I mean our sub bass. And then I would like to add some of this harsh frequencies here, which is not common actually. A lot of people take them down, but sometimes it's also nice to add them and add less of the trebles. I talked about it a lot in my Tech House course, but essentially those trebles frequencies around here, they don't make actually the sound that professional. This is the presence, this is the highs here, up to the 10K, let's say. Those are the harshness of the sound. Here is like some kind of illusion of high quality, but in terms of frequencies. You know that in MP3, specific frequencies from 16K hertz are getting cut, especially in 250 kilobytes and down. But that doesn't matter right now. We'll just apply some of the presence here. We'll also add a little bit of the mids, and for the very trebles, we'll have another layer. And with this layer, with the main layer, we want to take a little bit of the everything, but mostly in the mids and high mids. Then we'll have another layer which is taking only the lows, and another layer which is only taking the mids, with different sounds and different wavetables and different approaches to them. And now I'd like to add again, but this time we'll be adding some of the highs like this, and cutting everything from the very tops. We can even make it bigger so we see it better. We'll do some slope like this to just make it more focused on the high mids. Not too much of the change though, just a little bit. And now there's time that we will use another third-party plugin, which is also free, of course. Other than OTT, we'll use Pancake to make some LFO automations of the panning. So it's completely free. Link to it you'll find in course downloads. And let's just simply make the magnets go like this. So we'll make some harsh wave like this and set it to 8. This way we'll make sure that the chords are really wide. And of course we'll add 4 more layers to it, so don't mind that we have it fully in left right. It will sound pretty nice. And now we'll just need to make it work with the bass exactly. So we'll be cutting it here, here. Like this. Something like this. Now let's add a new layer and copy the MIDI information. Make a lot of unison. Link LFO to fine tune. And turn on the compressor in multiband mode. We can even set it to 16 and a lot of detune to make it even more powerful, especially with this fine-tune automation and very high detune, as you can see, more than default. Up to here it's sounding alright, and if you go up it sounds bad, and sometimes we want a little bit of this. Let's just call it mid layer, right? And it will simply just cut everything from the bottom. We can leave it like it is, since this layer we also want to make it take a lot of the high frequencies. Pretty nice. Let's also apply the pancake to it, but just in the 1/8 mode. As you can see, they're working together in both ways. So let's exchange that and make them work like this. So they complement each other, and I would like to set it to 50%. Something like this. We'll just clone it again, add it to new mixer track, and we'll set the basic shapes and set the band plus minus and check what they can give us. So like this is pretty nice. Copy the MIDI again. Right. Turn on the low pass. And cut everything from the very lows. Let's also turn off the compressor here. Also this guy. And take down the detune. To make it more high and focused, something like this. Adds a little bit of the body right there. And quickly let's add another layer just to make sure we are taking a lot of the low frequencies as well. Let's take some different wavetable. This might be cool. And also again, let's take the square wave. We'll add a lot of voices to it, let's say per 8. Let's also add some distortion. I like the asymmetrical one. Maybe let's do the FM from B here. Let's see how it would sound. Let's maybe use a tube distortion. It's less harsh a little bit. We can also use some chorus. Alright, now let's simply get rid of the very, very lows. Add a little bit of the OTT to bring up the highs a little bit. And also some distortion again. And let's add another EQ just to make sure we're not mudding up the mix. Right, pretty nice. We took some time to make cool layers. Now let's group them together to Chords Bus. And before we move on, I'd like to add a couple of more things. So the layers are pretty powerful, but we still lack something. And we need some interesting layer of the chords. So let's add just that. Let's add another C room, and let's add also new insert on our playlist and assign it to our Serum track. We'll take the square wave and make this type of LFO. And now in the matrix, we'll go to LFO 1 and right here 9.5 and set it to chorus pitch. Now let's copy the chords and set it to, let's maybe try 19. Now we have an octave. Let's add one unison to it, detune just a little bit. So now we have pretty much this sound. Very nice sound. And now we'll just need to adjust the MIDI information right here. Let's get rid of the bass. I know it's wrong. We'll need to make the chorus pitch to both ways. Now let's also add hyperdimension, phaser, and compressor. Maybe in multiband. Something like this. And the phaser can go a little bit lower. And now I'd like to add some room reverb. It's interesting already, but let's add our Fruity Convolver. And in the presets, find the short reverb preset. And now definitely we need to get rid of the very lows. And maybe also very, very highs. Frequency above 16K is unnecessary, and we'll talk about it when mixing the track. That adds really, really cool element to our track. Let's route it all to the sidechain and listen. That's alright, unmixed yet of course, and now what I would really like to do is add LFO to the whole chords. They're moving because of the pancake. That's even better sounding in my opinion. Maybe we can take down the mix to 70 or 60, but it's not moving, it's empty, it's somehow really boring. And now, how we could fix that is adding an LFO automation. So what I would do myself is just take the LFO tool and make this kind of LFO. That works really nice. Another way we could do it, of course, is with Groovebeat. We would go to the Momentary and take the sidechain. That actually sounds really nice. It hides the chord in the very first bar, but what I wanted to do is make the same pattern, which looked like this exactly, right? But twice as fast. That's why it's inconvenient to do it that way, of course. As you can see, we would need to put all of them like this. And that's why I would like to do it with LFO. Although it's also possible with just the Fruity Balance and automating the volume like this. Or do it like this, right? That's pretty convenient way of doing that, but I'll stay with the LFO tool, and of course this way you'll have in the different project file. I'd like to leave this Groovebeat sidechain here. It's helping a little bit. Although I would like also a little bit more layering, as I hear that it could be a little bit better. So let's quickly take the bass and make it unique and change it so this bass plays it. But of course, we need to take down everything from the very lows when it's happening. That's why we'll just quickly automate this band so it ends up here. Plus, to it, I'd like to add a little bit of the noise. We'll take the Aircan Organic. Let's also automate the volume of this whole bass. So we take it down until the drop. So it's lower in volume. Just like that. Now the problem is that I would really like this bass, of course, as well as a cappella, to have the same LFO as we had here, right? Or in this case with the LFO. So what we'll need to do is make another track and just call it All Instruments. It will be very important, so let's make it ultra purple. And to this track we'll link the acapella. We'll also link the chords to it and the bass. And now the chords here will take it to All Instruments and delete it from the chords. Actually, we can try, maybe it will be better with the Fruity Balance, as it's hard for me to get the volume LFO right. We'll need to link the controller again to the balance. Alright, so we'll make them play only on the chords, and there will be a cool trick in a second. We don't want to spend too much time on the LFO now. And it doesn't sound right? So the thing what we'll do is pre-delay them all, like this. Now the thing is, we should not put those like that. So we'll mark every first one like this. And cut them from the beginning. Alright, so that's definitely not perfect. We'll take care of it later. But now, definitely let's get rid of the LFO tool, as I thought it would be a better idea. But Fruity Balance does way better work than the LFO tool. I mean, at least it's easier to set up with that one. And now let's just unlink it from any controller that we have here. Like that. Alright, cool. Why the bass didn't go into the LFO section? That's because we need it to slap. And I would repeat it the third time, but it just doesn't have that much power when we LFO everything. At least bass should stay not LFO'd. Alright, the next thing I really want to take care of is vocal drops. So here we have our vocal acapella. Let's route it to the master for now. Nowadays, every high quality future bass track has some cool vocal chops on it. But it's not that if you use vocal chops, you're not unique anymore. So let's just find some ideas. Maybe let's cut this part like this. You can chop those up and then use this tool, Slip, to browse through parts that we would like to exchange. Pretty nice, first part. Then let's add some Deep Blue Tape Stop. That's a very popular plugin that you for sure know already. Also, link to it is in the description. It's a free plugin that you should definitely have. We'll create automation out of the trigger. Let's record this part with solo the and hit Shift E in the mixer, play the track, and we'll have this sample now, which we now can reverse and put it into smooth the clicking mode. It's already armed to the third mixer track. If you listen to it, you can make this one unique and make smooth the clicking like this. So we have this. So we have this super cool effect in matter of seconds. Let's also make a variation right here. The same thing let's do with this part. Shift E, play, drag it, reverse it, the clicking mode. Pretty nice. Alright, so as we came to this moment, what I would definitely like to add to the drop is some percussion elements to fill up the empty spaces in the drop. The vocals are unmixed yet, of course we'll take care of it. Let's for now add some percussion elements. So let's open our drums folder in our Ultimate Future Bass sample pack and we'll take some crash. Okay, we definitely need to put this at the very beginning since it's screwing up a little bit. All right. Actually, let's also use a little bit of the trap sample pack that we have here, as many of you might have it. So let's open some loops maybe. This loop is pretty nice. Definitely we need to make it stick with the tempo. Let's also take another crash. And maybe some longer crash. I had one here. This one can work. Let's also add some tambourine. That's why I really like FL about this function right here. Also maybe some triangle right here. Also, let's layer something on the very first beat of every bar to gain some momentum. Make it a little bit shorter to not overwhelm the mix. If you're making future bass, that sample pack is a complete must-have. And I'm telling that from deep of my heart. That's actually one of my favorite sample packs, better than anything I could find anywhere else. And it comes with amazing MIDI song starters and actually everything you would need. And that's just a few of them. Amazing drum loops as well. There's literally nothing to add to this one. Let's just make another group. Can be like this. And we'll make sure we add everything to a mixer track. That's quite important. Alright, so I've grouped them like this. So we can move down the overall volume of theirs. And now let's just simply finish out the drop by just copying these guys here, the bass, and let's copy the drums like that. And what we could now do take another part of the verse, but we would need to make new vocal chops, and with this part that would not work, since if we would cut it like this, that would be pretty tricky to make it sound nice. So let's just copy the guys we have already here, and in the second drop we'll make sure to use the second part of the drop. Let's copy those as well. Immediately so quiet. Alright, we could do it like this. It sounds pretty nice, but what I would like to do cut the bass and the kick drum, and on our all instruments bus, let's add EQ, and we'll just low pass everything like that. And let's create automation clip out of them. Maybe put it into the acapella. And also, let's add reverb to it. It's a pretty big reverb. Let's automate the mix knob. Also, let's do it on the vocals. Automate the reverb in order to blur everything out with the low pass, which should be after the reverb. Let's also automate quickly the frequency resonate, so we don't bump it up through whole the track, but only in the very moment that we want it. So like this, it's alright. Alright, let's also cut everything like it is here and make it bump again right here. That trick with pre-delaying the balance of the LFO is something nobody will tell you, and I bet nobody would like you to know it, of course. But it just makes the chords more pumping, it makes them more defined somehow, and also some kind of swinginess is added to it. Alright, let's listen to what we've got so far.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, relentless, you survive.
Right, there are stuff that we should take care of, especially when it comes to sync of the chords and the vocal. Although I now hear that we have very, very unmixed sounding orchestral build-up. There's a lot of compression and high passing stuff needed, of course, but I didn't want to focus on that. Actually, I usually do focus on that, but I find that not focusing on that and like postponing stuff you know to do is great, because you are aware that you need to do it anyway, and if you do it right away, it can happen that you lose momentum, you lose workflow for the stuff that you would not know to do. Like, you would not get inspired to do something because that time you were tweaking stuff that you have to do. So that's very, very important that you postpone stuff that you know that you should definitely do. So now what we could do is just get moving on with the breakdown.
The written down in eternity, but you'll never see. The written down in eternity. The written down in eternity, but you'll never see. The written down in eternity, but you'll never see the price it costs. The scars collected all of their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their hearts in defense. The scars collected all of their lives.
Alright, so here we definitely need to adjust organ MIDI since the girl is going different notes.
Lives. When everything's lost, lives. Lives. When everything's lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and avenge defeat. Before it all starts, they suffer through harm just to touch a dream. Oh, lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their
But the thing is that we need to take actually this chord, make this one unique, because it's already a build-up. Here, build up second.
When everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and avenge defeat. Before it all starts, they suffer through harm just to touch a dream. Oh, pick yourself up, lives.
Alright, let's also take the macro from the bass.
Their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their lives. When their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and defend their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and defend.
We need to go on D here.
Everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and avenge. Before it all starts, it's lost, they pick up their hearts and avenge defeat. Before it all starts, they suffer through harm just to touch a dream. Did all of their lives. When everything's lost, they did all of their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their did all of their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their heart and defeat. Before it all and defeat. Before it all starts, they suffer through harm just to touch a dream. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never.
Alright. So the change here as well, we need to do it here. On F sharp. So it changed. Black guitar.
Everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and avenge defeat. Before it all starts, they stop calling you. Can you hear?
Let's copy the drop section here. It will be drop second.
Never die. Never die.
Let's do it like that.
Never die. Never die. Legends never die.
Let's also copy this segment.
Legends never die. Legends never die.
Make all of them unique so we don't screw up the previous one.
Legends never die. Legends never die.
Let's also increase the low cut here.
Legends never die.
And again, at least make the very first 2 bars original. That was pretty nice. Let's copy the trigger again. We forgot about the percussion elements. They are making a lot of work right here. Of course, all the crashes, let's postpone.